The Pareto Principle basically states that 80% of your outcomes come from 20% of your business. Now, let me just explain that a bit further. So if you have 20% of your customers, they will generate 80% of your turnover or your profit within your business. And it is amazing how often that when we do this analysis, that it actually comes back to really close to that Pareto Principle. So what does this mean for your business and what does it mean for your cash flow? Well, I'll give you a couple of live examples of how we've helped clients identify a problem in their business with this principle. So many years ago, I was working with a client who had a really poor cash flow. They had a massive overdraft, but they also had a very high turnover, but the profitability of the business was quite low. So working with this business, we identified two key areas that were really killing them. One was the fact that basically they had almost double the amount of stock that they should have had. Now, we identified their stock turnover rate should be 7 times, and in actual fact, they had a stock turnover rate of only about 3 or 4 times. So they were carrying way too much stock. By identifying this, we then dug deeper with the client, and it turned out that the guy who was in charge of their buying actually didn't know what he was doing and was quite open about it. And we got to the bottom of what he was doing. So if they were selling, let's say, a washing machine, every time they sold one, he'd buy another one. So he didn't worry about the fact that there was already 7 of them in the warehouse. He was buying every time just to replenish the stock that they'd sold for that day. So hence they were carrying way too much stock. So by putting in place stock ordering procedures, which meant that if they get down to 2 washing machines left, then they would buy another 4 or 5, but not replace exactly every single item every time they sold one. The other thing we identified was some of the stock that he was replacing was stuff that was very slow moving. So we identified stock that was turning over quickly, stock that was turning over slowly, and we eliminated it. And by implementing those 2 or 3 small tweaks and focusing on that 20% of the business that wasn't quite right, they went from having a massive overdraft to within 12 months, the overdraft was gone, their stock was at a level that it should have been, and the profit in the business had actually tripled in value. Now, what we identified and how we helped that client was only a couple of small tweaks to what they were doing, but it had a massive impact. And the difference it made to their business not carrying all that debt and the stress of the business owner was immeasurable. And that's what we talk about when we say the Pareto Principle. So it's not focusing on every single bit of your business, it's focusing on those key areas that have the biggest impact.